I'm Nadia Al-Samri, publisher of Diabetes Health Magazine. A mother of three, a finance-minded writer, and a type 1 patient for 22 years, Kelly Close has found her niche, the business of diabetes. Working passionately in a field that affects every moment of her life, this former Wall Street analyst is making her mark on diabetes. We decided to take a closer look.
So I found out that I had diabetes in 1986. It was my first semester in college, so I was a teenager. I kept feeling not so well, exhausted, thirsty all the time. I had to pee all the time, all the textbook symptoms. And I kept calling the nurse's office and saying I don't feel well. And they kept saying, well, are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? And I said, no, this is my first semester of college. Of course I'm not doing that. You know, and then one day I woke up and I couldn't get up to walk across the quad to my English class. And so then I thought something was wrong. And I went into the doctor's office and the first thing they did was weigh me. And I lost 10 pounds. And I just literally right then knew something was very wrong. The doctor started asking me questions and said, oh, you're thirsty all the time. You have diabetes. And I said, no, I can't possibly have diabetes. I mean, it was the typical lots of denial. A great aunt of mine had type 1, and that was all I knew about diabetes. And I said, I definitely don't have diabetes. I definitely don't want diabetes. I'm going to a formal tonight. I'm out of here, you know, and at that moment, that was when they took me to the hospital, and they confirmed it with, you know, a 700 plus blood glucose reading. And back then, you know, there was, they were very clear, this is how much insulin you need to take in the morning, this is how much insulin you take at night. We never varied the amount of insulin. There was nothing about carb counting. I didn't even understand that carbs made my blood glucose go up. We didn't even know that blood glucose, that tight blood glucose control reduced complications. I think I felt like I had my footing probably not that much after, except for hypoglycemia. It was always so hard for me because hypoglycemia, your body just betrays you, you know, you don't know what's happening. That was always really difficult, you know, and some of the technology that we're so lucky to have now, like insulin pumps, like continuous glucose monitors, like very good blood glucose monitors, like fantastic insulin. We didn't have any of that then. So I think over the years, with every new innovation, I have felt really lucky. Like, wow, if you have to have diabetes, this is the right time to have it.
Why are you having? I'm having candy corn to lift my blood sugar up. Not too high, but even, right? Even Steven.
Well, it sounds like she's doing well. Yeah.
Maybe if I had developed diabetes in high school, maybe I would have wanted to be a doctor. When I was in college, when I was diagnosed, I had a fantastic doctor and was very inspired by him. But I thought, gosh, I haven't taken chemistry 11 and I'm too late for all this. So I think actually probably working from my strengths would not have been in medicine, working in medicine itself. I've always loved writing. I was an English major, an economics and English major, and I had a big interest in business. And so I think probably when I went to work in consulting at McKinsey after business school, and I was lucky enough to get to work for a diabetes company, that I saw, wow, this would be really fun to do longer term on my own. And I ended up studying companies for years and years. I worked on Wall Street and studied medical technology companies, and then I just felt like, gosh, it would be a lot of fun to do this independently. I think right now it's a good era to do things independently. And you don't necessarily need to have a big company behind you. I also was lucky to have been trained at big companies where I learned so much at Goldman Sachs and at McKinsey, and I had amazing mentors who really thought that maybe I could kind of grow up and be able to help some diabetes patients and help some diabetes companies. So I left Wall Street in 2002. And I called up a couple of companies to see if they might want a little bit more about the patient perspective, and they did. And I also gave them some advice on the financial front, because that's my background is business. And now we've turned it into a company where we're all about diabetes information. So we develop diabetes information for companies, for doctors, for investors, and probably most importantly of all, for patients. So we follow about 80 companies who are developing products for people with diabetes. That might be drugs, that might be devices. We go to about 35 conferences a year. We all the time are following new literature that famous doctors have written to see if we can learn anything that would be helpful for patients or for companies to know. And we just really try to stay on the cutting edge and really try to cut through the clutter for everybody through Diatribe and through Diabetes Close-Up, our two big publications.
Yeah, I know. I'm really worried about that. So would you think that like JDRF has the funds, or what do you think will happen with them? What would you advise them?
So he's a great scientist, you know, and has done a lot of important things, but again, you know, not necessarily the first person that you would think of in terms of patient advocacy.
We're not looking to become a big company in terms of people. We're just looking to do a great job covering diabetes and getting all of the right news about diabetes and obesity to you know, to all of the people out there who need it. So I want to be doing this job in 30 years.
From Diabetes Health, I'm Nadia Al-Samri.